evening, everyone. Welcome to today's session. So we are conducting this program for third year, fifth semester. These are part of campus recruitment training. I started with communication skills. I finished the first pillar, which is pronunciation. Now I moved to grammar. Within grammar, we already completed the introduction to part of speech. We completed noun, pronoun, adjective. Today I'm going to talk about verb, and when I speak about verb, you need to keep in mind that verb is an action, but every action is relative to a time, which means the action has either taken place, is taking place, or it will take place. So basically past, present and future. Alright. So let's quickly look at what verb basically means. The verb signals an action, an occurrence or a state of being, whether mental, physical or mechanical. Verbs always express activity. Verbs in English have four basic parts, which is base form, the ing form, which is a continuous form, the past tense form and the part participle. So we can just keep aside part participle for a while, just focus on the base form, the ing form and the past tense form. Now if you look at these examples, it says work, play and listen. So work becomes working, play becomes playing, listen becomes listening. But if you look at the past tense, the letters ed is added at the end of the base form, which means work plus ed becomes past tense worked, play plus ed becomes played, listen plus ed becomes listened. What needs to be understood here is there are certain words in English language which does not follow the ed form. So let me remove these grids for easy viewing for you. Alright, let me take an example here. You will understand what exactly I mean by these exceptions. Say for example, eat, sleep, deal, seek, or rather let me put it this way, this will be something you can make note of, that will be more helpful. So I am going to mention the base form as well as the past tense form. Okay. Let me expand this a little bit. Those who are watching on television or those who are watching on YouTube, it will be easier for you to view this. All right. Say for example, I have the word which is eat. Okay. Now the past tense becomes ate. If I have the word which is sleep, the past tense is slept. Okay. If I have bring, it's brought. If I have buy, it's bought. If I have seek, it's sought. All right. Dream, dreamt. Okay. So if this is in comparison to a word like, you just have to add a d at the end. For example, if I have a word which is play, you add an ed, it becomes played. All right. But if I have a word which is sing. The past tense is sang. All right. So here again the sang also changes, the form changes. I'll talk about that later. But there are a lot of words where the past tense changes. For example, if I have the word which is go, so you don't say goed, you say went. If I have the word which is do, it's did. Okay? So you need to have the complete understanding of the language in order to pick the right form. Okay? Now we can learn it by usage of examples. So I'm using these examples as a part of question. So here is the first one. Hi, I dash you in a long time. How have you been? Basically, one person is meeting another person after a long time, asking how he or she is doing. So please read question number 1, understand, and then pick your answer. Hi, I dash you in a long time. How have you been? The correct answer is hi, I haven't seen you in a long time. How have you been? So option C is the correct answer. Question number 2. Yesterday I dashed to see my grandparents. I go, I have gone, I gone, I went. And the correct answer is option D, which is went. Yesterday I went to see my grandparents. Question number 3. Some people say that it is better to dash for today. It's better to is living, it's better to living, it's better to lives, it's better to live. The correct answer is better to live. 3D, live is the correct answer. Number 4. Have you ever dashed to Canada? Have you ever been to Canada? Have you ever be to Canada? Have you ever been to Canada? Have you ever have been to Canada? Since I already have the word have in the beginning, I don't need to use it again. So 4C is the correct answer. Have you ever been to Canada? Which means, have you ever visited Canada? Number 5. Albert doesn't like dash on weekends. Albert doesn't like working on weekends. Albert doesn't like to work on weekends. Albert doesn't like work on weekends. And option D, answer 1 and 2 are correct. So you can either say Albert doesn't like working on weekends, Albert doesn't like to work on weekends. So option D is the correct answer. Next, he occasionally dash a headache in the morning. He occasionally is a headache. He occasionally should be a headache. He occasionally might be a headache. He occasionally could be a headache. Now this particular question is a trick question because the context of the question changes with every option. So technically speaking, all these answers do fit as a perfect answer provided the context is independent. Number 7. I dash all the requirements for the job already. I am meeting all the requirements. I meet all the requirements. I have met all the requirements. I will meet all the requirements. So option C is most appropriate one. I have met all the requirements for the job already, because already means it's past tense. So will is not a perfect answer because this is future tense. The time on the clock dash correct is correct. The time on the clock should be correct. The time on the clock might be correct. The time on the clock could be correct. Which is the correct answer? Option D, all the above are correct depending on the context what the statement is talking about. Number 9, what time dash up every day? Sorry. I'm sorry. What time dash up every day? What time are you waking up every day? What time have you woken up every day? What time do you wake up every day? And option D, all the above are correct. What time are you waking up every day? What time have you woken? Now, woken is a word that does not exist. So, the correct answer is 9C. What time do you wake up every day? Number 10. Jimmy dash his homework before the teacher comes. Jimmy needs to finish his homework before the teacher comes. Jimmy has to do his homework before his teacher comes. Jimmy wants to do his homework before the teacher comes. Jimmy will complete his homework before the teacher comes. Now, option E is the correct answer. All of them are appropriate. Now, the word complete, this is something which I want to talk about a little bit in terms of vocabulary. All right. I have heard a lot of people use this word So, this is a word which is complete, all right. I have heard people use this word in a question or a statement. For example, if it's a question, they say, did you complete your lunch? And the answer I get is, I just completed my lunch. Now, complete is a word which is most appropriate for a task, for a job, okay, for an action, for a work. So, lunch is not a task, right? It's a physiological need. So, please do not use the word complete for context like lunch and all that. It does not make sense at all. A lot of people say, I just completed my lunch. Now, it's not a course, it's not some kind of degree course or something where you say, I just completed my B.Tech, I completed my MBA. So, lunch is not a course, right? So, please do not use the word complete, it does not make sense at all. When you speak to someone who speaks proper English, they will not understand what do you mean by that. Sometimes even I face a problem when I go to certain colleges and after the break I come back. Now, a lot of people ask me, did you complete your lunch? And I don't know how to answer that question, because you cannot complete a lunch. You always, you have a lunch. So, you can ask, did you have your lunch? Are you done with your lunch? So, please do not say complete your lunch, all right. Moving on, question number 11, verb practice. I dashed to the mall, I dashed to the mall after school. I goed to the mall after school. I gone, I went. Now, goed and gone are incorrect. Goed does not exist. Gone is not appropriate for this context. So, went is the correct answer. Question number 12. My brother dash a bear an hour ago. My brother seen a bear an hour ago. My brother saw a bear an hour ago. My brother sees a bear an hour ago. When I say an hour ago, it means past tense. So, the correct option is option B. My brother saw a bear an hour ago. Number 13. Dash Mike visit his grandmother last night. It's a question, and the tense of the question is past. It says last night. So, the correct option is, did Mike visit his grandmother last night? So, did is the correct option. Number 14, Alex did not dash last weekend. Alex did not working. Alex did not work. Alex did not worked. If you remember, in terms of the verb form, I already explained there cannot be two past tense next to each other. So this is did not past tense. My next actual verb should be present tense. So Alex did not work last weekend. Question number 15. We dash not happy after the sad ending. We were, we was, we did. Now was and were are both past tense. In fact, all three are past tense. Did is not an appropriate answer. Was is also not an appropriate answer because was is used for singular form. Were is used for plural form. The subject of this statement is we. We is plural. When you have plural, you need to use were. Number 16, sorry, I dash hear you at the door. I didn't hear you at the door. Here is present tense, so this is past. You cannot say I wasn't or I am not. The correct answer is didn't. Number 17, I dash English for 2 years. I studying. Now if the question is I am studying since 2 years, it makes sense, but it says for. Now there is something which you need to know in terms of since. When should you use since and when should you use from? Okay. Now you will use since when the action continues, okay, and you will use from when the action has ended. Let me give you an example. I am working in this organization since 2015, which means I am still working in this organization. Let me mark this in a different color so that you can understand. I am working in this organization since 2015. Since is the appropriate form here because it is still continuing, the time is still continuing. Now here I lived in Mumbai from 2001 till 2004. Which means there is an end date, there is no end time here. You use from when there is an end time, you use since when it is continuing. Okay? So please remember this aspect. So question number 17, I dash English for 2 years. I studied English for 2 years. Question number 18, what dash you eat for lunch every day? What do you eat for lunch? If it's every day, it's do. Since this is yesterday, what did you eat for lunch yesterday? Because this is past tense, so it will be did. All right. So please remember the verb should be in sync with the tense. In case if the action has already taken place in the past, the verb should have a past tense form. I gave you some examples of past tense form, so please ensure that you are using the past tense form for all the verb. In case if your verb is, the action is happening in the present, you need to ensure that it is a present tense form. All right. Now you can use the word will depending on the context of the verb and context of this sentence. you should be using ed, not for all the past tense. I gave you a lot of examples where ed as an option doesn't really work all the time. All right. So let's move on. I'm going to look at some more questions here. Question number 16. Student at school dash books for their courses. Students at school are given books for their courses. 16C is the correct answer. Are given, because all the students have been given books. Question number 17. Those boys look like dash fathers. Now we have THEIR and THERE. THEIR is the correct option here, because THERE is a preposition. Classes are sometimes dash Thursday. Held at, hold on, hold at. Now held on is the correct preposition because it's a day. Now in terms of preposition, if you have, now let me write the title first. If I have day, then my preposition is on. If my time is a particular time, my preposition will be at. If my word is a month, it will be in. If it's year, it will be in. All right. Say for example, I will meet you on Sunday. I will meet you at 8 p.m. I will go to Chennai in October. I came to Hyderabad in 2001. So when I have a year, let me mark this. When I have a year, it's in. When I have a month, it's in. When I have time by the clock, then it's at. And if it's a particular day, it's on. Classes are sometimes held on Thursday. Because it's a day, I need to use on. Number 19, he will finish his medical studies next year. He will finish the medical studies next year. He will finish their medical studies. He will finishes his, sorry. Since it's talking about one particular person and the course that person has undertaken, 19A is the correct option. He will finish his medical studies next year. Number 20, he have a car when he was 16. He has a car when he was 16. He had a car when he was 16. Now this whole sentence is past tense, so had is the correct option. Now what's the difference between has and have? So I use has when I'm talking about something singular. I use have when I talk about something which is plural. All right. For example, I have a blue pen. All right. they have a blue pen. Now, since I is a first person, you will use have. But if you use second person singular, she has a blue pen. He has a blue pen. So, since this is an exception because the first person, you are supposed to use have. Okay? And you will use have when it's a plural. But what if I am talking about a verb or a particular subject like team, or everybody? Okay. Now, everybody sounds like plural, team sounds like plural because it's more than one person, everybody means more than one person, but still it will take the singular form. For example, the team has performed well. Everybody has expressed their desire to attend the meeting. It's not everybody have, it's everybody has. So, has is used for singular, have is used for plural. Okay. So, question number 20, he had a car when he was 16, because it's a past tense, I will use had. Number 21, we have to stop. You see this, we is plural, we have to stop the car and buy some petrol because there aren't many in the tank, isn't much in the tank, aren't any in the tank, isn't many in the tank. So, petrol is non-count noun, you cannot count, you need to add a count noun. For example, give me a tank of petrol. So, petrol is non-count, so it will be isn't much, alright. So, 21B is the correct answer. 22, one of the dash is from Mumbai. One of the English teachers, one of the teachers English, one of the English teacher English. Now, B and D are incorrect. Between A and C, you need to pick the right answer. Just read the question, one of the English teachers is from Mumbai, or one of the English teacher is from Mumbai. You need to tell me which one is the correct answer. Now, to illustrate the answer, I would need a blank screen here, just a moment. I want to tell you in proper way so that you will never forget. Okay. Imagine there are 4 blocks and all these blocks are blue in color. Okay. Now, one of the block is much more narrower than the other 3 blocks. So, what do I say here? Let me insert the text. You can pretty much understand what do I mean by this. Let me make it simpler for you. Okay. So, these are the 2 sentences that you have. Now, you need to tell me which one is the correct option. You have 4 blocks. You mean to say one among this is red, correct? So, give me the correct answer. Option 1, one of the block is red, one of the blocks is red. If you're confused, let me give you the answer. When you say one of the block, that means you're talking only about one block. If you say one of the blocks, which means of all the 4 blocks, one of the blocks is red, which means you're picking one from many. So if you say one of the block means there is only one block, which means you can say the block is red, isn't it? So grammatically this particular statement is incorrect. The correct statement is one of the blocks, which means 1, 2, 3, 4. One of all the blocks is red. Likewise, in this particular question, number 22, one of the English teachers, there are multiple English teachers, but one from those multiple English teachers is from Mumbai. So 22A is the correct answer. All right. Number 23, he didn't actually dash any tea when he was in London. He didn't usually drink, he didn't usually drank, drunk, drink, drinks. Drunk is an adjective. For example, you say, I saw a drunk person, somebody who is intoxicated. Drank is the past tense of drink, drunk is an adjective. All right. So since this is, I already used a past tense, he didn't usually, I will use present, drink any tea when he was in London. Only people and bicycles can cross this bridge because it is dash for cars. Because it is too narrow for cars. Because cars can't go through, the bridge is too narrow. All right. So next session, I'm going to talk about more and more questions, but this is something which I'm going to cover in the next session. Subject verb agreement. If you have a singular subject, your verb should be singular. If you have a plural subject, your verb should be plural. So you see this Superman symbol, there is a reason why it has been used. I'm going to talk about this in detail in tomorrow's session. It's very important that you understand the relationship between subject and the verb. If your subject changes the form in terms of singular or plural, the verb form should also change. And all this I'm telling you to ensure that your grammar is accurate. We've already finished pronunciation. Unfortunately and quite sadly, I haven't been getting any questions from any of you. I'm not even sure how many of you are watching. So please make use of these training programs. Post your questions so that I can provide you with the answer. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow. Same time, 4 o'clock. Bye-bye.